Hi, I hope everyone's doing well. So right now I'm going to go over the assignment sheet for the research report, which is the next assignment in this unit. If you remember, I had introduced this assignment at the beginning of the unit, although at that point things might not have been as clear because you were still thinking about what you might want to do for your project, your observation, your experiment, whatever the case may be. But at this point, now that you've finished your observational logbook or are about to finish it, a lot of what I'm going to talk about should be much clearer, right? So let's start by looking at the basic details. In terms of length, this is going to be at least 2,000 words, and then you're going to need a reference list consisting of 5 relevant academic sources. If you remember, for the research proposal, we asked you to include 2 scholarly sources, right? So hopefully you've continued to do that research so that you have all 5. If you have all 5 already, that's great, right? In terms of format, it's going to be APA again. And then in terms of due dates, we have push things back a little bit considering the situation. So now your rough draft will be due and the peer review will happen electronically this Friday the 27th, and then the final draft will be due on Monday the 30th. All right, so let's take a look at the assignment. And again, this will all be very familiar to you now that you have the context and the experience of having done the previous steps, right? For this assignment, you will practice the skills employed by individuals reading and writing in the natural sciences by writing your own research report. You will begin by developing a natural science-based research question and hypothesis. You've done that already. You will then test your research question and hypothesis by designing and conducting a simple study/experiment for at least 5 days. Once again, you've done that too, right? This will involve making observations, collecting data, and sharing and interpreting this data with readers in an observational logbook, which will precede your research report and serve as its basis. That's the one thing to keep in mind, right? That it might sound very scary to see, oh, this has to be at least 2,000 words, but you've already done a lot of this work, and it's just a matter of revising, retooling, reorganizing the information that you already have, right? But let's take a look at the writing guidelines for the research report. So you might remember me talking about this at the beginning of the unit as well, right? That as part of the conventions of writing in the natural sciences, writers follow the IMRD organizational format, IMRAD, right? And so once again, that stands for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. So anybody writing in this field will follow this framework when they present their research, right? And you're going to be doing the same thing now that you have conducted your own primary research. Something else to keep in mind here is that you're going to have those sections that I just mentioned, but your research report will also need to include an abstract of 50 to 75 words. That's also part of APA, right? The abstract is essentially a summary of the entire report. It's going to provide readers with a summary, as it says right there. And then once again, remember that you're going to be citing at least 5 relevant academic sources. So the next section in this assignment sheet is essentially giving you a more detailed outline of what this document is going to look like. But remember that we have provided 2 sample research reports for you, so you can see how this document looks in its entirety. But as you're working on your own, this outline might be helpful to see how to put it together, right? So you're going to have the title page. Once again, you're going to have the abstract, the introduction. So the introduction for the research report is essentially a short literature review where you give your reader a broader sense of why you're doing what you're doing, right? Why does your observation experiment matter in the grand scheme of things, right? So this is very similar to what you already did for the research proposal, right? So you're stating the purpose of the study, you're including a review of previous scholarship on your topic, and this is where you're going to present your research question or questions if you have more than one, and your hypothesis, right? So once again, you already have all this information. It's just a matter of putting it in these different sections, right? So you're going to be moving some things around. The next section is your methods. So this is where you provide a detailed account of your research procedure, your methodology, and they're going to provide an overview of the previously conducted primary research from the observational logbook, right? So in this section, you're going to be able to take a lot of what you wrote for the logbook and place it here, right? The next section is your results. So this is where you're going to present the findings of your primary research through properly labeled graphs, tables, charts, pictures, whatever the case may be. And for the results section, this is very similar to the description section that you had in the logbook. What I mean by that is in the results section, You're only providing your reader with the results of your research. You're not analyzing, you're not interpreting anything. You're just saying, this is what I saw, or this is what I discovered in my study, my observation. The discussion section then is where you do analyze your results by providing an overview of the implications of your findings and like the previous scholarship. This is also the place where you discuss limitations of your study overall, and you provide your readers with directions for additional or future research. Again, this is going to sound familiar because you did a version of this for the logbook already, right? So you can take that information and place it here. And then the final section is going to be, of course, the reference list, which starts on a new page. You're going to have at least 5 relevant and correctly cited scholarly sources in APA, right? And then finally, we have the rubric that gives you an overview of what we're going to be looking at when we're evaluating your research report, right? Okay, that's it for now. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.